October 2014. AMD's stock is trading around $1. Analysts have mostly stopped covering it seriously. The company is a few bad quarters from irrelevance. That month, an engineer takes over as CEO. By 2026, that same stock trades above $400. The company she now runs is worth more than $700 billion. Her name is Lisa Su. And this is how she did it. Lisa Su was born in Tainan, Taiwan in 1969. Her family immigrated to the United States when she was 2, eventually settling in New York. From there, her path was almost singularly technical. 3 degrees from MIT, bachelor's, master's, and a PhD in electrical engineering. Her doctoral research focused on the physics of transistors, the microscopic switches every computer chip is built from. This wasn't a business degree with a technical minor. This was someone who spent her 20s studying the literal physics of how a computer thinks. Her first job out of MIT was at Texas Instruments, inside its semiconductor device lab. A year later, in 1995, she moved to IBM. She'd stay for 13 years. That kind of technical credibility didn't stay contained to a lab for long. In 2000, she became technical assistant to IBM's CEO, Lou Gerstner. Then she did something less obvious. Instead of climbing further up the technical ladder, she built something from nothing, founding IBM's emerging products division from scratch, with a small team chasing ideas nobody else at the company was funding yet. One of those projects, a 9-processor chip, developed with Sony and Toshiba, meant to make game consoles dramatically faster. It would eventually become the Cell microprocessor, the chip inside the Sony PlayStation 3. She was still at her core an engineer, but now she'd built a team and shipped a product, not just solved a problem. In 2007, she left IBM for Freescale Semiconductor. For the first time, she had profit and loss ownership, accountable not just for whether the technology worked, but whether the business around it made money. She helped prepare Freescale to go public in 2011. It was the last stop before AMD came calling. By the time she walked into AMD in 2012, she'd spent 17 years assembling exactly what the company was about to need. Someone who understood chips at the transistor level, and someone who'd already run a business. When she walked into AMD, it wasn't just underperforming, it was close to broken. AMD's previous chip design had failed badly, sharing resources between processor cores in a way that created constant bottlenecks. Intel, AMD's rival, had used the opening to take over 90% of the server market. AMD's stock was trading for pocket change. In her first weeks as CEO, she didn't announce a rescue plan. She visited AMD's own facilities, sat in on town halls and listened. What she came back with was almost stripped down in its simplicity. Build products worth buying, rebuild trust with customers, and cut the complexity, slowing everyone down. The first pillar meant one enormous decision: scrap the failed architecture entirely and rebuild it from the ground up. The company released the Zen microarchitecture line in 2017, making AMD competitive in consumer PCs again. It delivered the largest single-generation performance jump in the chip's history. 52% faster, instruction for instruction, than what came before. That same year, after 3 straight years of losses, AMD returned to profit and surpassed Intel. There's a detail about her career that's easy to skip past, and it shouldn't be. You see, semiconductors is one of the most male-dominated corners of an already male-dominated industry. For most of her career, Sue has been one of vanishingly few women in the room at all, and let alone running it. Even now, as CEO, she's described her own engineering team at AMD as roughly a quarter women, a number she's actively working to grow, personally mentoring many of those engineers herself. Her advice to women considering the field has stayed simple. In engineering, she says, either the product works or doesn't. Results speak for themselves in a way few other industries can claim. In 2021, That got formal recognition. Su became the first woman in history to receive the IEEE Robert N. Noyce Medal, the semiconductor industry's highest honor, until then given only to men. Her own reaction was characteristically understated. She said she'd never imagined receiving it and called it simply an honor of a lifetime. The recognition kept building. Time named her CEO of the Year in 2024. In 2026, MIT asked her to deliver its commencement address. None of it made the engineering any easier. It just meant that for the first time in the industry's history, a woman was the one being asked how she'd done it. The engineering judgment pioneered by Lisa Su that saved AMD in 2017 didn't stop mattering once the company was safe. That same judgment carried AMD into the center of the industry's next fight, building chips that are now powering some of the world's largest artificial intelligence systems. And for the first time in the semiconductor industry's history, the person leading a company through that fight is a woman. Somewhere right now, a young engineer, maybe a woman who's never seen anyone who looks like her running a company like this, is watching. That, as much as any chip or any deal, may end up being Lisa Su's most lasting legacy.